Hi there, how was your day? Everyone has their comfort games. You know that one game that you flip on when you don't want to commit to something big and you know you're going to have a good time with it? Well, for me, one of those games is Splatoon. There is nothing better than playing some turf wars or banging out some salmon runs to pass the time, but today I'm going to take the comfort out of this comfort game. I'm going to try and beat the Splatoon 3 campaign without shooting. I didn't know this game was set in Birmingham. Once I arrive in Splatsville, I see this old creep staring at me from a sewer, so I do what any logical person would do, and I follow him down there. Turns out he isn't some creep, but actually Captain Cuttlefish, the retired leader of the old Squidbeak Splatoon, and he has a mission for me. He needs me to stop the Octarians, who he suspects stole the Great Zapfish again. He gives me a new outfit and a gun. He knows we can't use this, right? Now's probably a good time to explain what I can use. Basically, anything I don't have to shoot, like bombs, non-shooty specials, and Little Buddy. Little Buddy is important, especially this early into the run, because he's gonna do a lot of stuff I'd normally just use my gun for. But there are limits to what he can do. For example, opening kettles. Yeah, so we can only open a kettle by shooting it, so... does this mean that the challenge is over before it ever really began? Well look, I'm not going to count this since we're not even a level in yet, so I'll make an exception for shooting to open kettles. And if you have a problem with that... as far as first levels go, this one's pretty easy. I mean, I was a little concerned that I'd have to shoot this big button thingy, but fortunately enough, a splashdown does the trick. For level 2, you just have to swim around in ink that's already been inked, so this should be a... so, since I have to ink this wall to beat the level, it's just not doable. And it's not like I can skip the level either, since you have to beat every level in the crater to move on to Alterna. So, unfortunately, I kinda have to throw him a towel and make this a minimal shooting run instead of a no shooting run. This means that we will only shoot if we 100% have to. Does this mean that the title is clickbait? No, it says I tried to beat the game without shooting, which is true. Now the thumbnail, on the other hand, I have no excuse for. In level 3, you're supposed to jump down this pit, grab the key, and then unlock this box to access the zip wire. But I can't get out of the pit without inking the wall. But, luckily enough, there's a glitch that lets me scoot around this by having Small Fry click through the box and activate the zip wire. But, we end up having to shoot anyway to activate this switch. I knew they were trouble. That puts the shot count at a 2. Level 4 is a complete breeze, and with it completed, it's time to move on to DJ Octavio. I'm just gonna whip the band-aid right off and say that this boss is not possible unless we shoot. He attacks us with these big hands that we're supposed to ink to send back, but Small Fry can't do enough damage to do that, so... we have to shoot. And yes, I'm only counting this as one shot because I'm not counting each shot individually, I'm not insane. So we beat him, but then the ground crumbles beneath us and we fall into oblivion. This is Alterna, and down here we meet the new Squidbeak Splatoon, run by Captain Agent 3, Callie, and Marie. Just for the record, I'm Team Callie, and if you're Team Marie, feel free to piss off, you're not welcome here. Either way, now we have a new mission. Find Cuttlefish, since he didn't land with us in Alterna. For our stop is Site 1, Kettle 1, and in this level you need to collect 3 keys to unlock 3 boxes. Only to collect 2 out of the 3 of these keys you unavoidably have to shoot. Normally I would just move on to another level, but at this point in the game, there are no other levels. To be honest, I almost gave up on finding a solution and just accepted that this would be another shot added to the count, but then I noticed something. Even if you don't beat this level, you still keep the power eggs you collected in it, and since we don't actually need to beat this level, we just need the eggs to clear the ooze. This is perfect. This means that if I just play this level over and over and over again, I can gather the amount of eggs I need anyway. You might assume that since I didn't actually have to beat the level that this was easy, right? Wrong. Because I had to replay the start of this level 12 times, and it took like 20 minutes. Okay, that doesn't sound like a lot, but it was really stressful at the time. So if you want to reduce the stress, you can do so by subscribing. I put so much of my time into making these videos, and you can make it worth it by putting just seconds of yours into pressing the subscribe button. Then I moved on to Kettle 3, which was super tedious since I had to take out a shit ton of enemies with nothing but a burst bomb, but it was doable. There was even this one part of the level where you're supposed to use a Trizooka, but since that technically counts as shooting, I have to find a less exciting way around it. But don't worry, less exciting is my middle name. You know, that sounded way better in my head. Kettle 6 was a zip cast level, or in other words, piss easy, so in no time I was over to Site 2. But first we were ambushed by Deep Cut, and I have a little announcement to make. 1 year ago, in my initial review of this game, yes I used to make reviews, let's not talk about it, I said this. I am not a fan of Deep Cut. Their designs are ugly as all hell, and to me at least their personalities are extremely cookie cutter. And today I'm gonna do my duty and apologize. I've honestly grown to love these guys, and even if some of their foreheads are bigger than others, that's fine by me. It's just more to love. Now you might think that to open up this tube thing that leads to the next site, I'd have to shoot it, right? Wrong again. For some reason, little buddy can open these, but not Kettle's, which is super weird, but like, I'm not complaining. Kettle 1 of Site 2 was doable thanks again to the burst bomb, but this is definitely the hardest that my cheeks have clenched in a while thanks to these octo snipers. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. God, I feel like I'm back in secondary school. Next, I cleared Kettle 2 of Site 2, which was unbelievably fiddly. This time, my best option was a splat bomb, which technically works, but it doesn't explode on impact like the burst bomb, and it's also a lot less spammable. Instead, it takes about 3 seconds to explode and rolls around a bunch before, giving enemies plenty of time to just scoot away. Then I beat Kettle 3 and moved on to the first boss Kettle. Just like Octavio, there is no way this is happening without shooting a bunch. Just like Octavio's big robo hands, Fry shoots these eels at me and I'm supposed to ink them to shoot them back, but little buddy just can't ink them quick enough, so Fry cost me my 4th shot. To make up for that loss, Site 3 was a complete breeze and I was immediately on to Site 4. Site 4 Kettle 1 took me 7 minutes to complete, which is pretty concerning because I don't think I took a single breath from start to finish. For reference, I played through it normally and it only took me 2 minutes. The reason why is for the second time my only option was splat bombs, and remember how I said they were slow and fiddly? Well, this entire level is based around hitting precise points at precise times, like without exaggeration. That is how you move around in this level. This led to me having to edge my way up walls levitating above a void, throwing 100 bombs over and over trying to get them to hit right, and hoping to myself that enemies wouldn't notice me. Why was I hoping to myself? Because I beat this level, I'm pretty sure I'm God now. Afterwards, I made a pretty great upgrade. I unlocked splat bombs, meaning that in the overworld, in boss fights, or whenever I have a base hero gear equipped, I can switch between small fry and splat bombs. This makes things so much more easier and more flexible than when all I had was small fry. Shh, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. Shh, Jesus, I need to do my nails. Downside is, it's just splat bombs, and we've already been over the issues they present, so it's not a total upgrade, but it's better than nothing, I guess. Then I took out Site 4 level 3 and moved on to the second boss Kettle. This time we're pitted up against Shiver, and you might assume that I'd have to shoot again, but guess what, dipshit, you're wrong again, and quite frankly, fucking stupid. Now that I have both small fry and the splat bombs, I'm able to use small fry to wear out Shiver's blahage of doom, ink it with the splat bombs, and then once Shiver's fallen off, use the bombs to knock her out. Like most things in this run, it's tedious as all hell and takes just so long, but it kinda works, so I'll take it. With just one boss Kettle left, I breezed through Site 5 and moved right on to Site 6. First I took out Kettle 2, which had way too many enemies, and then I conquered level 7. Throughout this entire level, the stage sinks away in little pieces, forcing you to keep up. Normally this isn't an issue, just shoot and go, but since my best option was splat bombs and they don't cover nearly as much turf nearly as quickly, this was a lot trickier. But I still did it, which isn't super relevant information, I'm just like really proud of myself and thought you should know. After it I did level 9, and then it was time for the final boss Kettle. Big Man. Look, I tried to do this with splat bombs, but it just wasn't happening. To clear Big Man's Manta Storm, I have to deal a lot of damage very quickly, which, as I've already mentioned, just isn't possible with splat bombs alone. So this cost me my 5th shot. But since I could shoot now and this is the easiest boss in the game by far, it only took me a second or two to beat it. And now the boss kettles are down, I'm able to face the game's final gauntlet. Level 1 is honestly too easy since the premise of this level is built around not shooting anyway. Then level 2 just gives you a bunch of specials and lets you have at it, and since I was able to work around any of the shooty specials like the Trizooka, this level was also pretty easy, but then level 3 kinda messed me up. I can definitely do like 90% of this level without shooting, but there's this one point where a bunch of Octolings show up, and even though I have little buddies, splat bombs, and burst bombs, There is just no way I'm taking these guys out, making this our 6th shot. Oh yeah, by the way, I have burst bombs now. I didn't mention it, but I have them unlocked. I did end up finding redemption in level 4 though, which is a zip cast level, so no shooting needed. Now we can rush forward and finally find... Oh shit. Oh shit! Oh shit! So Mr. Grizz flies to fucking space, threatening to bring mammals back to Earth, and with the help of Deep Cut of all people, we chase after him on a megalodon riding a giant ink tornado. How high were the writers of this game? Despite how just insane everything going on is, we've still got a challenge to focus on, and unfortunately, we have to add another shot to that count. See, we have to shoot these spots on Mr. Grizz to be able to expose a weak spot Lil Buddy can attack, and we can't do it with anything but our gun. It sucks, but it means we're able to blast through this boss and save the world. Ah, crap. So Octavio swoops back into the narrative, saving us from drifting into space forever. Meanwhile down on Earth, both Deep Cut and the Squid Sisters are hyping us up, giving Lil Buddy the energy he needs to become Big Buddy, and I don't think this sentence makes sense. With Huge Fry keeping Mr. Grizz occupied in a freaking kaiju battle, Octavio and I get to work on putting a stop to Grizz for good. But Grizz still sends some enemies our way, and because of the time limit and the amount of enemies he sends, it's just not doable without shooting, I'm sorry. This ups a count to 8, but you know what? There's a kaiju battle and a bop of a song playing, so I'm not going to dwell on that. So Huge Fry keeps Grizz busy, even putting him into a chokehold at one point, because apparently this little guy we've carried this entire game can just put a bear in a chokehold. And me and Octavio deal damage to Grizz bit by bit until eventually, it's enough to send him flying. So, with 8 shots on the count, was I able to beat this game without shooting? What did I just say? There are 8 shots on the count. It's more than I wanted, but like with most things in this run, I'll take it. If you want to support me and my content, please do consider subscribing. It honestly means the world to me. There was a larger gap in between videos than I wanted, especially with this one being relatively shorter, but I lost all the footage to a Spider-Man video I was working on, and then I had to get surgery, so there were a couple of delays. But with all that said, I've been Robbie with an IE, you've been amazing, have a lovely day.